The first exercise that I'm going to demonstrate is going to be the wall push-up. And the wall push-up is good for those of you who are not quite ready to do the regular push-up or the modified push-up. So you can start here with the wall push-up. Then start with your feet about 2 feet from the wall. Hands a little bit wider than shoulder width, just like if you were on the floor doing the push-up. And you want your hands at about shoulder height, okay? Square your elbows as you lean in and press, okay? And just make sure that your body is in good alignment, that your ear, shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle are all in one straight line, and you're going to do as many of those as you can in 1 minute. Now we're going to go with the modified push-up. So if you're not quite a beginner, but you're not quite advanced, we're going to go with a modified push-up. All right. So the correct form for the modified push-up, I have a ball here that I use. You want to find an object that's about 3 inches from the ground. You're going to start with your knees. Start on your knees. Again, you want your hands a little bit wider than shoulder width. All right. Down on the ground. Remember, you're going to check for your alignment. Make sure that your ear, shoulder, and hip are all in alignment. So you don't want your head down there. You don't want your head up here. All right. Make sure everything is in a straight line. All right. And you're going to go down to until your chest touches the object, and come back up. All right, so the complete push-up, you want to make sure that your chest goes all the way down to the object and you come back up. All right, now for the modified push-up, make sure that your hips are going down towards the floor. Sometimes when people do modified push-ups, they're going like this. All right, that's not a push-up. That's not a modified push-up. So make sure the hips go down, chest touches the object, and come back up. All right, and you're going to do as many of those as you can in 1 minute. Now for your feet, they can be down on the ground or you can bring your feet up. Really doesn't make a difference. Either one, whichever one is more comfortable for you. Again, down and all the way up, neck in alignment with your shoulders. All right, you got to do as many of those as you can in 1 minute. All right, so the final push-up variation that we're going to do is going to be the regular push-up. All right, so if you have a little bit higher, more advanced fitness level, you can go ahead and do the regular push-up assessment. All right, so again, we have our 3-inch object down here, hands slightly wider than shoulder width. This time our toes are going to be on the ground. We're going to check to make sure we're in alignment. Our ear, shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle should all be in alignment. All right, make sure your hips are not sagging. Make sure your hips are not piked up. And we're going to go down to the object and back up, down, all the way down to the object and back up. All right, so your push-ups going to look like that. All right, if you need to take a break, you can take a break during your 1 minute. Just make sure that you don't put your knees on the ground. All right, so if you rest, you're just going to rest in the up position. All right, so you have to rest like this. Don't rest up here, don't rest down there. Rest right in the middle, and once you're ready to go, you can start back again until your time is up for that assessment. All right, so again, for the push-ups, we're going to go 1 minute, as many push-ups as you can, whether you do the wall push-up, the modified push-up, or the regular push-up. All right, so our next assessment is going to be our lower body strength and endurance assessment, which is going to be our squats. All right, so squats are another one of my favorite exercises. Because we're doing a lot of body weight exercises, we will be utilizing a lot of squats, so it's important that you get your squat form correct. All right, so I have a chair here, so you can find a chair, and you want something that when you sit down, your knees are at a 90-degree angle. All right, so you don't want it to be too low, you don't want it to be too high, so when you sit down, your knees should be at 90 degrees. All right, so you're going to stand in front of your chair. Okay, now when you do a squat, a couple things you want to make sure of. Number one, you want your feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Okay, so you don't want them too wide or too narrow. You want to make sure that they're slightly wider than shoulder width, okay? Another thing, make sure your toes are pointing straight ahead. You want to make sure they're not pointing out or in. You want them to be straight ahead, all right? When you go down to do a squat, okay, you want to make sure that your hips go back, your knees do not go past your toes, and you go down to your chair, all right? So if you watch me do it from the side, as I go down, my hips are going back, okay? So what you want to do is shift your weight from your toes to your heels. So your heels should not come up off the ground, okay? Make sure that your heels stay down. You can't go all the way down to your chair without your heels coming up off the ground. Just stop, go down as low as you can while your heels are still on the ground, all right? So shift your weight to your heels. Your hips are going to go back like you're going to sit down in that chair, and you're going to come up, okay? So again, we're going to go down to our chair. Once we fill the chair, you can go ahead and stand up, all right? Again, everything goes in alignment: ear, shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle. Go down, up, all right? So our next assessment is going to be our core stabilization assessment. Now, core stabilization is going to refer to the strength in your inner core muscles, okay? Your spine has muscles in your abdomen and muscles in your lower back that are designed to stabilize your spine, okay? And so having weak stabilizer muscles, it can cause lower back pain. It can cause, misalignments in your body. So we want to make sure that we're doing exercises that are going to strengthen those inner core muscles. A lot of times we focus so much on the outer core muscles, like doing crunches and sit-ups and things of that nature, because we're trying to get a six-pack, all right? But we got to make sure that we have a good foundation in the inner core muscles so that we can then begin to build with strengthening the outer core muscles, all right? So this assessment is going to test your core stability, and the exercise that we're going to use is another exercise that you will see during the workouts, and it is called a plank, all right? We have two variations for the plank. We're going to start off with the modified plank, which is going to be slightly easier than the regular plank. So with the modified plank, it's always easier to me to start off in the regular plank, which is going to be this position here, and then just drop your knees to the ground. And this is going to be a modified plank, all right? Now with the plank, again, you want to make sure you're in alignment, all right? And also, you want to make sure that your abs are contracted. So contract your abs. You want to pretend like there is a brick wall coming down from the top, squeezing, and a brick wall coming from the bottom, squeezing. So you want your body to be nice and flat, nice and tight, all right? And whenever I say contract your abs, brace your stomach like you were going to take a punch, like someone was going to punch you in your stomach, all right? And then that's what I mean when I say contract your abs. So when you're down in that plank position, you want to make sure that your abs are contracted the whole time, all right? The other variation is going to be just a regular plank. And for the regular plank, we're going to be on the elbows, and these are going to be shoulder width apart. Come up on your toes, all right? Make sure you have your abs contracted. You don't want your back to be sagging. You don't want your hips to be up in the air. You want a nice straight line, nice straight body, all right? And, get those hips up just slightly so that they're not sagging down. And you just want to hold this position for as long as you can. Time yourself, all right? And that's it. All right, so the next assessment we're going to do is going to be our sit and reach test. And this is going to test the flexibility in our lower back as well as in our hamstrings, okay? And I would say if there was an area that I needed to work on, it's going to be definitely, it's going to be my flexibility here. So You want to have a standard tape measure or a yardstick, whatever you have is fine. And you're going to sit on the end where it starts, where the 1 inch is, and you're going to put your feet at the 15-inch mark. All right, so my heels are aligned with the 15-inch mark. Now you want to put your feet about a foot apart, so you don't want your feet to be too close or too wide. You want them to be about 1 foot apart at the 15-inch mark. Okay, then I'm going to take my hands and I'm going to place one hand on top of the other, but make sure they're even. So one of them is not going to be out here. Make sure that they're even. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean forward as far as I can. I'm going to touch the tape, and then I'm going to come back. All right, as I lean forward, make sure that my knees are down. Make sure that when you go forward that your knees don't come up, then you'll be cheating. Make sure your knees stay down on the ground. All right, another thing is right before you go, take a deep breath in, and as you lean forward, just go ahead and exhale. And see, I got 14 that time. The first one was only 11. So make sure that you take that breath and exhale as you go forward with that. All right, so again, inhale, exhale, and reach down as far as you can. All right, make sure the knees stay down, make sure your hands stay even, and make sure that you do not jerk. All right, you're just going to lean forward very easily, touch the tape, and come back. So no jerking. And you're going to do 3 tries, and you're going to take your farthest measurement. All right, so that's it for the assessment. So we've done our upper body push-up assessment, lower body squat assessment, our core stability plank assessment, and our sit and reach test. All right, so that will give us some baseline figures to where your fitness level is right now, and then we can test it again as the time goes on. All right, at the end of the 30 days. So make sure you do your fitness assessment this week. Okay, remember I'll be here Tuesday evening at 6:30 for your assessment. So if you want to drop by, have your assessment done here by me, feel free to do that. Just let me know that you're going to be here. So I think that's it. So make sure you do your assessment this week, as well as one additional workout, your 30-minute walk or jog or run, depending on what your fitness level is. And I will see you soon.